Hello and welcome everybody to another stream here on Zelda Speedruns 2. Today we have the Twilight Princess Any % Wolf Dash 2 tournament and we have Pheenoh and I just... that's no big deal. And also I want to greet my wonderful commentator for today, Case. Say hello.
Hello, hi. Adam is also gonna hop in. Oh, there he is.
Welcome, Adam. He isn't even loaded correctly. Okay, there you are. Hey, Adam, can you say something?
Yo.
Yeah.
Up.
Adam, do you have the site open? Where to watch?
Twitch.tv/ZSR2.
Hard now.
No. Go into the raised commentaries ZSR2 channel thing. There's a link you have to click. You were tagged there by Cups.
Found it.
Should be the 2 streams and the chat.
Yep, got it.
Great.
Yeah, okay, so Adam, actually a completely new commentator here for but 5 minutes ago. How do you guys feel about this before I leave you?
Go ahead, Adam.
Should be pretty close. Nimzo's been improving a lot recently.
Yeah, looking at the bracket, this is going to be especially interesting for Adam, because if he manages to win his 2 next matches, this will be his opponent. So I think he'll be pretty interested to know who's it going to be, because both runners are really, really good. Nimzo recently PB'd twice, or 3 times actually, like getting a 259 and then 2 258s. But like in one of the 58s actually had like a 1.5 minute mistake in it, so he's definitely capable of really good times. So it's really going to be interesting how he's going to perform here. Not unlikely that he might even PB.
He's been getting consistent sub-3s recently.
So what they actually did here is called Back in Time. It's a trick where you just mix 2 events happening together. One event being just voiding out, which respawns you on the map, and the other event being resetting the game, which respawns you on the title screen, or like just loads the house screen. And if you do both events on the same frame, reset and void out, the game just mixes the 2 results, resulting in you being on the title screen. And then you can just save everything that is on the title screen to your actual file and then just continue on that way.
Big use for it is the sword. It saves a lot of time on the cage break and the Goblin kill coming up.
So, looking at the leaderboard. Right now, I mean, he didn't submit his time, but right now, Nimzo is 9th, and Pheenoh, this 305, is 21st, no, 20th, exactly. But Pheenoh's PB isn't representative, doesn't really show Pheenoh's skill at all, because he's, like, this is a really interesting race, because it's actually, if you want to take, like, the times they joined, I think Nimzo started running like late 2018, early 2019, I want to say. So very, very fresh runner, especially with like a half-year break almost in between. While Pheenoh has been on and off with this game since like 2011, I want to say. 12, I don't know, do you know exactly?
Probably around there. I think before 2013, but I don't know the exact year.
So, it's a that's a boomer and a zoomer race. If there's any 2 people that's exactly the race you want.
It can be interesting too, because of course races are always unexpected with what happens, and Nimzo being new may not know the best thing to do, whereas Pheenoh has many more years of game knowledge.
Route-wise, they're doing the same route, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they both do Gorge Nosier. So it's very easy to compare them. There's not really anything that could happen that divides them except for one trick. So, and that one only divides them for like 10 minutes, and then they meet up again at a certain point, but that'll be later. So essentially what they're doing now is just a is like the second day quest of Ordon, which you usually do with which you do after day 1, of course, where you just do like the 10 goes, just get to know the controls and everything. But we can skip day 1 completely by doing this back in time glitch, because it sets us immediately into the day 2 quest. And yeah, as Adam said, like the important thing is you get the sword, you get the tunic, you get the shield, and you also actually get get Epona tamed, which also sets a flag for the Ordon state, because like this Ordon, the town, checks for a certain flag, which is if Epona is tamed or not. And if she is, Ordon actually switches states into a state right before Gorn Mines. And that state, for those of you who played this game casually, know that it enables you to wrestle Bo the Mayor. Nice, goat.
My God.
Which allows you to get the Iron Boots super early. So yeah, goats are a weird bunch. There's been a whole lot of argument about if they're random or not, and for the longest time people thought they're not exactly random, which they kind of aren't, but they have a random aspect to them, being their sensitivity towards you just pressing A to like steer them up or whatever. And so sometimes you have a goat, you can be really, really close, press A, and it barely will move. And sometimes it's very far away, you press A, and it's gonna sprint super far away. And that's like the random aspect on it.
It's almost pseudo-random, just based on minor inputs that you don't repeat every single time.
Yeah. It's comparable to like a gate clip.
Yeah, Nimzo with the cool 53.
I didn't see what Pheenoh got, but a really optimal time for a human is like 15. But if you watch like TP speedruns closely and like PB attempts, you'll see that you'll never see a 15. Maybe once in like if like the moon is positioned correctly and the runner is healthy boy, then you might see a 15 at some point. But 15 or like 16s are like very rare enough, not alone, let alone 15s. So like the best thing you usually see is like a 17 for really good runners.
Pheenoh had a 21 this run.
Okay.
Which is pretty expected.
Yeah, that's pretty average. So, and Bo the Mayor, it's really just a rock, scissors, papers game. You have 3 options you can do. You can press A, you can press B, which results in a slap. A results in like a push, and or a sidestep. So like like you can. That's where you can kind of compare it to rock, paper, scissors. Because Bo also has those 3 options that he can do. So it's just really who picks the better option.
On the first round, you can also do nothing, which gives you 2 times the opportunity to slap.
Yeah. There's like very fast runners, what they go for is just like a slap, as you saw. If you can get a slap on the first turn, and if you mash, I don't know, like 11 times a second or something, there's a chance for you to push him up, like off in one go, which is of course really fast. So you'll see people go for slaps mainly on like high level.
If you're also incredibly fast at it, he can still get you once and you can mash out of it and then slap him a second time and still get him even if he gets you once. But
Yeah, but
you have
that
to
needs
step
like
up the
14.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still possible. I've done it a few times. I think you have.
Yeah. It's a legit strat. Like if you get pushed once, most people will still like, or at least like I know Adam and I are still attempting to like slap again because the chance of you pushing him off then is still present.
And then if that doesn't work, just reset because you have nothing better to do. So.
So yeah, Nimzo got an 8:08 Iron Boots time, which is of course not. It's not optimal in case. In fact, like he actually lost like a minute to an optimal time. But this game's early game has a buckload of tricks that lose a minute, respectively. So, like the next 45 minutes is really just trick over trick over trick that can just lose you a minute if you fail. So,
if this was 2013, Nimzo would be on the God Run right now. Sub 8 was the goal.
Yeah, standards rose a lot. I need to control myself not to swear. So, like, they just standards got really high over the past years. Like when I started running, as Adam said, like I started running end of 2014. Really good runs where like you were getting nervous when you got like sub 730 Iron Boots, and that was like insane back in the day. And now, at least like in higher level play, it's not unlikely for people to reset over a 730s, at least like at Adam or my skill.
And then on the next split, the enter Frown, if you saw like a 13 on the first number, your heart monitor would be going off.
With 2 saves less back in the day.
Yeah.
We went from no saving to 1 extra save after to 2 extra saves, and then now back to 1 save between Sword and Shield Skip and Iron Boots. So you saw them save after bow, which we need for a later purpose. It's not for safety.
Pheenoh got the mid-net tech skip there. If you dash off, normally with mid-net will tell you to like go up and run around, but if you jump very far, you can avoid that text when you land on the ground.
I actually thought how I would have the commentary for this be a bit different to the other commentary. So rather than explaining every trick in like its detail, I will rather focus on how the like route changed over the years. Like spoiler, it didn't change much since like 2015, but there has been quite a few changes, and since we have both Adam and me here who have been running this game for a couple of years,
It's 2014 even. I think Dragonbane found Gorge Skip / Rupee Roll in like spring of 2014.
yeah, but you can't talk about like the bomb route that you found like mid 15.
I think that was still 14. I don't know.
No.
Whatever it is, it's been at least 5 years. So.
Because I know when I started. And then, yeah, maybe some talented glitch hunters here who hears our cries.
Will stream for glitches.
So this beginning actually hasn't really changed in many years.
I think this has actually always been the beginning.
Yeah, ever since back in time, really.
Yeah, it's kind of what you alluded to though with the saves. That's the only difference.
So you'll see both Pheenoh and Nimzo luring in Hugo. The trick is called Sword and Shield Skip. You've probably seen it before if you're watching this race. If you haven't, what you really do is you need this enemy to jump over a trigger, which which will hinder your progress or your continuing further on. Because like casual wise, Midna would like you to get the sword and shield, and if you were paying attention, you can see it's on our back. But it's not really on our back, just because we got it like through back in time rather than getting it legit. The only issue with getting it legit is we can't, because we did back in time, which sets Ordon into a state where you actually can't even do that quest anymore. So let's see if Pheenoh can do it.
Doing back in time, it puts it on your character, but it doesn't put it in your equipment slot.
And yeah. So Pheenoh just got it there, really, really good. If Nimzo needs to pretty much also get it, or else he'll lose around, I want to say, a minute. The thing about why it actually loses so much time... Wait, let's see if he does it before I talk.
He's not getting...
Okay,
yeah.
very, very good. Yeah. So the thing about this trick is, as you saw, it's kind of RNG, because we need Hugo to stand in a very specific spot. It's like... It's like... How do I describe it? Like maybe like 20 pixels in width is where he can stand. And you want him to be there and also swing in that moment, because we need his swing to set him up properly to do like 2 jump attacks to get him over. And why it loses so much time to fail it is like it would seem that you could just like reset him up if you fail it, but the thing is that you need him to still be alive to do the trick. And if you jump attack him once, his health, like let's assume his health is 2, and 1 jump attack deals 1 unit of damage. If you attempt it again after you failed it, so you jump attacked him, he's gonna die, which won't allow you to do another jump attack, and that's pretty bad. So like if any one of those or 2 would have failed it, you'd have seen them jump off the bridge, reset the area, and reset his health. So yeah, Swordfish skip is mandatory for this. If you do back in time, you don't really have any way around. And yeah, that's kind of like the backstory to it. It's a really hard trick. Many beginners actually struggle a lot with it. It's kind of like it's like a barrier for people who want to try and learn the game.
It's like the gating trick. It's arguably like the hardest one that's like essential to the speedrun.
Yeah.
Like alternative routes you can do, like they exist, but you're going to lose, I don't know exactly, but probably like 5 to 10 minutes, just from an any percent perspective, to avoid doing sword and shield skip. Which at that point, it's like, if you at least get familiar with it, you can probably get it before you lose 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. From like a higher level perspective, it's definitely not an easy trick, but I don't know, like, what's your consistency rate? 90%? At like lowest, maybe? Like, I can definitely see getting it 9 out of 10 times if you actually try and get it.
I mean, you could probably go higher, but yeah, it's up there. It's consistent.
Yeah. I think if I would like
EMS.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, explain that before I continue.
It's really just there's this glitch called a super jump with Midna's charge. There's a certain Shadow Beast attack, Nimzo just got it, on that one where the Shadow Beast puts his arm slowly above his head in that direction. When you release the Midna charge, you'll lunge at the hand. So if you do it with the proper timing and release angle, you'll just jump up onto the wall, and you can run out of bounds, and then quickly get a jump over the void to the Sacred Grove. There's a couple minor things that are annoying about it. Mainly just the fact that the swings are random. It happens to all of us, really, but if you get unlucky enough, you can get 3 bad swings where each one does 1 heart of damage. So it's like you're forced to kill him and reset up the trick, which is like a 20-second rough time loss. But they
So
both
why
got
are
it.
they doing it?
They're doing it for the Master Sword, obviously.
Okay, other question. What do they gain from having the Master Sword so early on?
So the Master Sword, it lets them transform between wolf and human at any point. It's also a really good sword. I think it's double the damage compared to the Ordon sword that they got from back in time. But the main thing is transforming. It really opens up the game a lot. Just being able to do that so early in the run, where normally you can't do that.
Yeah, I think I've heard estimates of like it saves like 20 minutes or something.
EMS?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably about that. Like 20, 30. Probably 20.
Like if you compare it to HD doesn't have it. HD is at what, 326?
Yeah, HD sucks
Record
though.
here is like, yeah.
It's a
Alright,
different game, it's easier.
we'll be right back. Do, 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 do.
I'm not gonna lie to the people watching this.
Our job is done here.
I'm suddenly banned from commentary, so bye.
I'm pretty sure you're banned from like TPHD commentary.
Pheenoh getting the super zoomer boomer jump off the rock, where you auto jump and go flying as far away from Skull Kid as possible, losing maximum time. If you have enough speed in this game from a jump, it'll sometimes just continue to jump, whether it be like a ledge or off an object. It can happen in really weird places, like you'll just suddenly slip.
You also see them use the downtime to like break skulls and just like collect random rupees, and we actually need rupees for repairing the cannon much later on. It's like almost 2 hours into the run to get to City in the Sky, and it's, of course, it's not needed. We have like 200. We have 270 rupees fixed into the routing implemented. But you kind of need, so of course you need 300. So 270 you get from just like routed in like moments in the run. 30 you kind of are on your own to collect at any given moment. So you try to like just collect random solo rupees to eventually have 300.
Because right now you get 200 from Snow Peak, and then 10 from a trickulator called Rupee Roll, and then you basically get 3 reds in Arbiter's Grounds,
Yeah.
leaving 30 to get from just random things throughout the run. I do think you can skip an extra red and get more random greens, but no one's really put the time into optimizing that. I kind of want to. I've started doing it a little bit and found a few more, but it's so difficult to make up for 20 when you're really just looking for single ones throughout the run.
Yeah, and it's like essentially you need to find something that is like 5 seconds faster, because it's not really that much slower.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not even
get
slow.
a red. Yeah.
You're basically looking for free money.
Like even backup rupees, you could not care about rupees at all on your way and be like 20 down for whatever reason. And like even backup rupees such as like one on fires, like small little floating island, only lose like 5 to 10 seconds at most. So yeah, you need to like find super brain dead, not out of the way rupees to collect on top, or get really, really lucky to skip a red and save time.
Do you remember what the task rupee route is? I don't remember how many they get. I mean, it's obviously the same amount in the end, but I feel like they only get 1 red, if that.
So Simikins mentioned like good routes, type of thing, so I can actually like connect to the thing I talked about earlier with the differences in runs or routes. So when I started off, people just maybe like half a year, maybe like a couple months even, migrated to this current route, at least in like its basic idea. When I joined the community, at least like watching runs back in like 2013, people actually did what's called the bite routes, which none of those actually do right now. But what you do is you, through back in time, which is why it's called bite routes, back in time equipped, through that you trigger the bubbling one fight, and if you do that one successfully, it warps you to Kakariko, where you can get the warp and access that warp later on after doing Farron shenanigans and everything. And that's still a route to this date. It's actually, I want to say, and it's like most, if it's really optimal and you count an almost task bubbling one, I think it's like 25 to 30 seconds slower. I don't have the exact timings in my head, but that's roughly it. And it cuts away hard-ish tricks, being Gorchoid, which we'll see later, Rupee Roll. In another variation, you get Zora Armor that also cuts off Pillar Clip. So if you struggle with like the hard early game tricks, you can definitely do Bite Route to still be on par with like really fast routes.
Pheenoh having the first use of transforming early with the Master Sword. Just using the lantern to go through the haze area.
Oh yeah, Taka said it should be under 10 seconds slower. Yeah, with like a task bubbling, of course it's not it's not very likely to get a task bubbling. And in this game, calling something task level, it's actually insanely different still compared to human. Like the end game with Zelda, a task Zelda could still save an average of like 35 seconds over a normal good RTA viable Zelda. So, and there's at least like 2 tricks that are task only that save a lot of time, or a decent amount of time, I want to say. So TAS is not really comparable to human, unfortunately, in many aspects.
So Pheenoh here doing another save. He's going to do Back in Time again in the Forest Temple, except this time it's a little bit different than the first one. He got the late frame. And he's going for it.
Oh wow.
And it's gone.
Alright, Nimzo can catch up here if he gets the first try.
Yeah, they're basically tied now.
Pheenoh doing like a small baby setup with like C up. Oh,
Nimzo got it.
Getting it. Pheenoh also getting it.
Yeah, so here, the first time you do it, you just void out to make the title screen press start go away. But if you press A while you're going into the void, you can load another file, and this is the file from Ordon after Bow. And without going too much into detail, certain save properties, such as the room, the state, whether or not a opponent is tamed, which all work with that file from Ordon, you can load really just yourself into the King Bulbin fight, and that can be useful if you want to fight him. It's useful in maybe not nowadays, but older routes, especially 100%, where you need to fight him anyways as part of the requirements. But you can do this other glitch off it called early boss flags, and it also is linked to the monkeys in Forest Temple. If you reset and then skip the cutscene, it'll stop what's the word, like decrementing a timer for restarting a cutscene so it doesn't replay if you were to void out. But since you reset in the middle of that, it's still there in memory, and that is linked to the boss flags and the monkeys. So now they both have this temporary value that shouldn't be there, and it's useful, which you'll see in a minute or two.
Pheenoh getting Bedlock with the spider and the nuts. You usually use the deck nuts that the Babas drop to throw them at the spider. Oh, that's okay. Good. And if you kill the Baba while it's like neck, is that a neck? It's a plant. What do I know? If it's like fully extended upwards and you kill it, the resulting height the nut drops actually is too great, so it just breaks. Yeah. It can also just break if you throw them at the spider. It can also just sometimes happen without killing it. But yeah.
Well, Nimzo just did it, but Pheenoh there, going out through the door, other monkeys just appear and form the bridge. So that's the result of the King Bulblin glitch.
Yeah. So that's also like that essentially. I think that trick kicked off like the rupee roll / gorge route almost, I want to say, because it's been discovered like right as I joined the community. Back then we would actually like half do Forest Temple normally, like rescue second monkey, do a certain glitch to still skip saving a couple extra monkeys, but this cut off like 2.5 minutes in Forest Temple alone, and then enabled another extra 1.5 minutes or something on the claw shot segment later. So when I first learned the game, we actually got the claw shot much later, like after Lineru. Yeah, and this boss fight has like a second use. Not only can we like get the boomerang early, but what it also does is like if you have boss fight enabled and you go into a boss in a boss fight, the fight immediately starts. It's like there's no introductory cutscene or anything, and it's been known to like be some kind of thing very early on. Like there's very old VODs of like Pheenoh entering the Morphle fight, and it was already going, even though he was on the top. And of course, no one knew like what it was until we found the boss flag. And it can be used for the Deku Toad you'll see later. But what it does is it tricks the game to thinking you have been in the fight before, so it skips the introductory cutscene, and we can use that to enter Deku Toad fight from behind, kinda.
It's first discovered through people doing 100%, just because there was so much involvement with King Bulblin and voiding out, resetting, doing runs, that it happened. I don't remember who it happened to first. In recent times, I know you mentioned the one with Pheenoh and Morphle, but I think doing Hundo, I think Rodner may have had it, and then Devil did at one point, and then SVA did, and SVA had the full VOD, and he repeated it, and it was consistent, and then narrowed it down to the Bulblin fight with resetting in the void.
Yeah, I know. I remember Rodner finding it, but like the Pheenoh instance was super early on. I think the Pheenoh one is like 2012, where he just drops into the Morphle fight and it started.
Yeah.
And then Rodner got it like 2013 again or so.
Yeah, hopefully the same thing happens to the other unknown tricks in this game right now. There's a couple documented things that we have no idea how they happened, and they could be potentially game breaking, but we just have not found a way to repeat them in any way.
GV stands for Gorge Void, which we'll see in 40 seconds or so on Nimzo's side, and almost exactly the same amount of time on Pheenoh's side. Do you want to explain Gorge Void?
Nah. All you.
Okay. So first of all, this run runs on 30 FPS. So in 1 second, 30 frames pass. And so you'll see Nimzo sprint towards a Shadow Beast fight, and after he's done fighting them, there's 1 frame of those 30 after the cuts, or like during the cutscene, where you can jump attack, or like input and jump attack. And it just so happens that the cutscene kind of places you in front of the bridge. So if you jump attack, you actually jump into the void. And that kind of delays having to watch a certain cutscene. Let's see if Nimzo does it. Yeah, Nimzo getting it. Really, really cool. So that's the jump attack. We'll see if Pheenoh gets it. I hope he does. If not, that will set him a minute behind. Ah, wow. Simikin's the fortune teller. But that's like the result. So if you fail it, the game forces you to warp away. And the only reason why it loses time to miss Gorgevoid is because you just have to do extra backtracking. Like Pheenoh essentially has to just run all the way back there, do an extra escape, which we haven't talked about yet, and that just loses around a minute.
Yeah, he has to do the whole extra South Farron warp point. Ooh, well, they're tied again.
Why did he do that?
Zoomer energy. Missing Gorge Void though, it forces you to warp to South Farron. Or really it is Farron, but South Farron's the useful one. And then you have to do Farron escape here again, and then run all the way back to the Gorge area. And that's like a roughly 2-minute time loss.
And Nimzo just did?
No, just missing Gorge Void, like the route going from South Farron back to the Gorge.
Yeah.
But if you get Gorge Void, you have to go from the Kakariko warp point back out to the bridge and then warp, which is about like a minute. So save 2, lose 1. Overall, it saves roughly a minute.
So Nimzo messing that up actually loses around a minute. So like now they're just pretty much tied again.
They're just doing different routes because it's optimal for what happened in both of their runs.
Do you see what Nimzo does? His repeal method is actually really interesting.
The Iron Boots?
No, that blows. But
Watch your language.
but no, what he does is okay, he's over it. What he does is like as he's moving to the side, he moves up and just like slides to the left until he actually can target for the first time, which results in it being like the very upper quarter.
Yeah, that's not. I don't like that though.
Yeah,
that sounds
I'm
weird.
not gonna do that either, but it's
Right.
interesting. There's so many
if
methods.
it works for him.
Yeah. So many methods to do rupee roll. There's like horizontal one.
The ancient sword slash method.
The sword slash?
Yeah, no rupee.
mean
Just
zombie
go up
hammer?
and yeah.
Oh god, yeah. So I've only seen one person in existence do that.
It makes me think of no save and quit.
Yeah. No save and quit actually in rupee roll is very scary because like if you mess up the way Nimzo did, your run is over because there's not really a backup. In any percent, of course, you can just save warp. While in no save quit, you'd have to do a trick called zombie hover where you can repeatedly slash a fence and eventually like slide over.
Pheenoh getting pillar clip. Nice, he got it.
I keep typing minus because minus is my mute button.
Mm.
Oh yeah, so the pillar clip thing that I'll talk about forced escape really quickly, so because Nimzo is gonna be there. So usually, of course, like the developers built in a mechanism to force you to finish Force Temple and the Fair and Twilight by placing a trigger on the ground that is kind of large, where Midna is like, hey, you didn't finish either of those two, go back and do those first, you have other business to do. So it looks easier than it actually is, but you can like inch towards that trigger and then do a long jump attack over it, similar to the thing we did with Hugo. where you target a certain object, and if certain requirements are met, you can actually do like a long jump attack. The main requirement is just really it either being like on a higher level. For the boomerang, what also counts as like higher level is it just being out of bounds. So you can set like 2 targets on a wall, and very often the boomerang is gonna go out of bounds to reach the second target, and if you jump attack during its out of bounds phase, you can do the long jump attack. And the third requirement, which is really just the same as being out of bounds, is it being over a void. So often you'll see people just throw a boomerang, and if it's over a void, they also just do a long jump attack, which breaks the game a lot actually, because the Wii version, which lacks the application for the boomerang, is like at least 10 or 15 minutes slower than the GameCube version.
The only reason it doesn't work on Wii is because when you pull out your sword, it'll make you untarget whatever you're targeting.
Yeah, you can't pull your sword without breaking the target.
So Pheenoh entering the Deku Toad's room now. Normally this is the exit. There's a gate here blocking you from entering, but the extension of the early boss flag makes the fight already started, so he can just look at the ceiling and then skip the cutscene, and it puts him right into the fight.
Yeah, so it may not look like it, but Pheenoh and Nimzo are actually almost tied. Just because, well, Nimzo is like 2 minutes behind Pheenoh right now, but Pheenoh, after a certain time, has to do 2 minutes of extra movement that Adam talked about. You can one cycle this fight, this Deku Toad fight. Requires you to do really, like, it's like an 8-frame window, I think.
Depends how you do it. If you do the double slash method, it's, I think, 7 or 8 frames, yeah. And then if you do single slashes one at a time, it's only like 3 or 4 frames.
Like a certain rhythm of slashes, you need to do 10 in total. Oh, nice.
Thought he was gonna get the 3.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Okay, but like the last hit actually does like double damage, I think.
The Forbidden Toad.
Velocity Toad. So yeah, here you see extra like long jump attacks that Nimzo's doing. Like usually you're kind of stuck proceeding here if you don't have the bow and arrows, because you need to like shoot down stalactites.
You need bombs too.
Oh yeah, but yeah, of course. Yeah, we can just bypass that with long jump attacks. And here's like a very cool double long jump attack Nimzo is doing right now. Oh god, that was so close. He almost bonked.
Almost went swimming.
Madman strats. Yeah, it's also scientifically proven that you can't dodge those tektites. It's not possible. You have to be hit at least once.
You ever gotten like the triple hit? Hit by both and then on the way back?
And then on the way back, yeah. Probably never been closer to snapping my disc, not gonna lie. So Nimzo doing the same thing Pheenoh's gonna do with the Deku Toad now. While Pheenoh is actually gonna semi-fight the Karkarock mini, if you want to consider it a mini boss, I'm not sure. Because I'm dead. And what you really just do is, like, usually you would fight him as a wolf, but since we can transform to human, we can lure, or yeah, enemies die in water, and enemies usually die touching water, so you can lure like the rider on the back of the Karkarock into the water and have it die.
Is he gonna go for it? There's an out of bounds in this Cargrock flight that saves like 5 seconds.
I think so. No, he isn't. Okay. Nimzo's definitely gonna go for it, so we'll see it hopefully on his side. Did you see that?
Yeah, he almost got the double. What's wrong with them?
He finished off the fight with a combo. That's so hard.
That's
He
a
must
flex.
have had. Yeah, he must have had like frame perfect slashes. Cause like initiating the last hit on its own is like what, 7 frames?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see a I don't think it's possible, but maybe do like 3 hits, do this like the flashy sword put away, and then finish him off. But I think
Oh.
you could do that. That was basically a taunt.
That was weird flex, not gonna lie. So I'm trying to think how else the route kind of changed.
Relative to what?
To the old days. If there's something like they do right now that people didn't do back in the day. Of course, like the cargo got a bounce, you'll see on Simikin's side. It's been
Yep,
known for a
Simikin's
while.
Simikin's on the right.
Nimzo. Why do I keep saying Simikin's? Nimzo's side. Yeah. It's been known for quite a while, but it's been only really used in 100% because like the hitbox of the Kargarok is larger and easier to clip with. In that spot, but in 80%. Actually, Torp found a random video on YouTube where the guy did it that way. And that's how we learned that you could actually clip out of bounds on another spot, which is way, way easier than what we used to know.
Pheenoh with the weirdest Shadow Beast kill ever.
Yeah.
Just like stabbed him with the wolf head. And that was it.
So here you'll see Nimzo go high and then squeeze in between those 2 rocks. Yeah, and that puts him out of bounds. And the reason why it saves time, of course, he doesn't have his map shown, but the usual flight pattern is kind of like a curve, and you can just bypass that curve and go straight forward to the exit, and that saves around 6 seconds because you don't have to like fly left and right.
Yeah, there's winding tunnels. It's like an S. Not as pronounced, but
Yeah.
back and forth. It looks cool out of bounds with the Twilight effect, though.
I'm just still getting like a
Oh,
high
Pheenoh with the Uku
18.
pull.
Oh, it's RNG manipulation for Zelda.
Depending on the... If you miss Gorge Void, you basically have to do another equip if you do the route he did, and a common mistake, if I can even call it that, because it's like a second, really. But common mistake is to not equip the boomerang again, and you're so used to using that button for the item that you just pull Uku.
It's not a second though. Talking to Uku, canceling.
Well, yeah, if you don't talk to him.
Yeah.
Nimzo with
Good
random
map.
map pull. Yep.
Pretty sure he heard what I said and just tried to pull the map, but
Oh, I went the wrong way.
what was I gonna say? What were we talking about just now?
I don't know. Out of bounds. Twilight effect. Map pull,
effect.
Uku pull.
Ah, yes. So technically the most optimal thing to do in that case after missing Gortroid is go straight for Eldin, finish Eldin, and then go do like the linear section, lake bed section thing, because then you don't have to do an extra equip.
It would be faster to do Gorge Void and then beat Eldin, but the only thing stopping that is the forced warp at the
Yeah.
gorge after. That gives you map warp, which you need later in the run. And if you beat Elden Twilight without going back to get that, it's just gone. The trigger's only in the Twilight state. So you have to go there before you beat Elden, sadly.
So seems Nimzo is still a good 30 seconds ahead of Pheenoh if Pheenoh can get reroll here.
Yeah, he's like a good minute ahead still.
A minute?
Yeah, it's like a minute from Landover. Actually, no, it's like 40.
It's like 20 seconds from warping away, so...
No, it's 30.
Oh, jeez. That's a minute.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, Pheenoh has to save warp to... Like, the reason why they have to save warp is you need the yellow repeat text to do the trick, but the text only refreshes if you save warp.
He could have dug up another spot and gone for a random blue rupee, but it's not
In
as
a race
consistent.
setting, yeah.
Yeah, the trick isn't as consistent with it, and it's a 1 in 3 chance to dig the blue between a blue, yellow, and green.
Reroll in like Pheenoh's case is pretty much like the last major early game thing that could go wrong.
He doesn't do
So
a Wolf
it's-
Bomb House skip, correct?
He doesn't know. Nimzo does.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, if you count those smaller-ish things, then you don't really ever have like a break of like tricks that could just kill your run. At least at like a high level. Of course, it's not a minute, but like Wolf Bomb House skip loses like 35, I think, if you do a fast backup.
Yeah, like something like that.
And then in Linearu, you have like a side up that saves like 5 seconds but loses 20 if you fail it the worst possible way.
Nice that
And then
Pheenoh got it
for-
though.
Yeah. So once you get to the vessel, I can tell you exactly how far in between they are. Nimzo doing a small optimization here where if you bonk the wall and target the bug, it'll run straight at you. Back in the day, we actually had to like climb all the way up and like break the pot it was hiding in and then kill it that way. I don't actually think it's hiding in the pot, it's like hiding behind the pot.
That was like the biggest mind-blowing event of that year. I think that was
when
bigger.
I
Yeah, that was bigger than like the Dark, not Skip in Hyrule. That room was so awkward. It was just so tiny, like random ledges and items everywhere, pots.
Yeah. Wish SVA would come back. Every time SVA comes back, he finds at least some optimization. Let it be this stupid of a bug optimization, but even that is like 3 seconds or so. Nimzo, favorite room of mine in the run. I was a hater back then, but I realized that it's actually a really cool. It's like super movement heavy. It's like the definition of TP speedruns. Because yeah, TP has all these like flashy tricks, hard tricks execution wise, but you can nail every trick first try, and you'll still be miles off a good time because movement is everything in this game.
Imagine if the whole 3 hours was as intense as that room, though.
God, my heart rate would not be at like a 90
My
where it
hands
usually is.
wouldn't work. I would need a box.
Box. Yeah, SVA, you know how good SVA is by looking at his time. He still has a top 10 time from 2015. He was really, like, he is, or was in TV at least, really, really good. And he would pick up the game, he would probably be at like a top level very soon again. But to be completely honest, like, I think you can still count 57 as a top level.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nimzo did Wolf Bombhouse skip here, very, very good. Pretty fast still, even though he did like a side up. You'll see the counterpart on Pheenoh's side. But what he did there, like the house, you can kind of trigger a event after like exploding cutscene, because the game just tracks for the bug being dead. If it's dead, the game assumes that you must have gotten inside and triggered the cutscene, which you didn't, so it just still breaks. So both runners actually being pretty good on rupees, because they both had to do rupee roll twice, which is an extra 10. So Nimzo is pretty much go mode with the rupees. Pheenoh needs another 15. I don't know, what would you consider a top time, Adam?
Define top.
I'm asking you.
I would say 55.
Okay. It's like top 5
or lower.
currently.
Yeah.
I
And
would
sub 3
definitely
is a
say
huge
that
achievement, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not what it like. Realistically, like sub 3 was a thing almost 5 years ago now. Like it's still a cool achievement, but it's not the same in terms of difficulty.
Yeah, it's definitely much easier to get it now. I would definitely consider sub 3 still being a good time, definitely.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, but
That's like kind of puts you into that upper level, I would say,
Yeah.
for TP speedruns.
you're like a respected runner. I mean, of course, you're respected. Like, we're not disrespecting anyone, but like, yeah, people acknowledge your skill pretty hard if you get sub 3, and then beyond it's just extra levels of optimization.
Yeah. Pheenoh slowly going for the side hop, then getting gravity sucked into that rupee.
Oh yeah, by the way, Pheenoh and Nimzo were around 2 minutes apart at the vessel, so... The Wolf Bombhouse skip that Nimzo did saves, if you do it hyper optimally, and get like a really fast, like C up, whatever, saves like 5 seconds. It's much harder than the human version. Human version is really just step on like a certain step on the stairs, and then do like a long jump attack with boomerang. Wolf, there's so much more to it, and the risk of falling down is like 15 times higher.
Yeah, the difficult thing though is it's not falling down. I mean it is, but it's making the jump without hitting the bug trigger, because it goes over so far, and it's like you don't have that much room to make the jump anyways as Wolf.
Plus Wolf, what's it called? Wolf controls are kinda finicky. Like, you kinda want to do a side up and then you end up doing like a diagonal jump attack, and that messes up the trick. In fact, if you do a diagonal jump attack to the up left, like during the second jump attack, you'll also trigger the bug, so that is also pretty risky. Okay, we reached a pretty chill part of the run now. It's like chill is also not really chill. It's not like flashy with many tricks, but still definitely a pretty hard segment to optimize and get a good time in. Kind of like a hate segment of mine, just because it's kind of like you can practice it for hours and then in runs you'll still just lose 15 seconds on the fly because of many stupid small things that can happen.
Pheenoh with a pretty good Twilight for not doing Wolf Bomb House skip. A 658.
Why did Nimzo have a 710? What happened?
A lot of weird side hops.
Really optimal time for Elden is sub 650. It's kind of like what the top people aim for, but as long as you get sub 7, you're kind of really fine. That's at least like sub 7 is always what I shoot for. Sub 650 is like a time I'm pretty happy about.
So one interesting thing is, if you notice, they transform to human before warping the meteor to Zora's domain. And if you warp an object, Midna, or not Midna, but like, you don't get forced back into wolf when you warp it, even though you're warping. So you stay human after, and I think they both missed it, but there's this one frame opportunity where you can side hop and just completely skip this text trigger by Midna, which is, it's like a 5-second time save. You can't do it as wolf though, because you can't input a side hop in one frame, whereas you can as human. If you do it as wolf, you'll just jump attack and still be in the trigger.
So now we're transforming here. Partially, like, why they both transform human is to bypass a Rotella cutscene happening by like going under the tunnel. But there's also a trick here where you can do a side up to land on like a lower edge to get another bug. It's a 3-frame window. Nimzo getting it. Or like 3 working frames and then 1 early or 2 early frames, something like that. Where you land on an even lower level, but you can claw shot back up. It loses like 10 seconds. It's not that bad. If you go late, however, you have to save warp, which loses 20 seconds compared to getting it. So yeah.
I'm shocked he got that second bug.
Yeah,
have like moon jump on.
Lizard bugs have like a bad reputation because they're just kind of finicky. They're definitely not as bad as people used to think they are. Like if you understand them, know when they like move back and forth, you can kind of predict their pattern. But they can still lose you a lot of time.
The issue is back in the day, no one thought to just maybe like wait for them to move and then stop, so people just jump at them constantly.
Yeah. We were young and innocent and naive.
How dare the enemies actually be able to move in the game?
Don't be like Torp and do runs with cheats on. Yeah, I've done that. I've successfully done Gorge Void just to jump off my horse and do Gorge Void again.
Yeah, from Linear Gate Clip.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun days.
And it's stupid because it was always on Epona, just because you would backflip with R, and it's like...
Yeah. And target, of course.
Yeah.
That for one. Oh yeah, but that's a difference we also didn't talk about. So if you pay attention, they actually got into the linear segment early by like side hopping through as Wolf. Back in the day. I think I'm gonna say that many more times.
Back following down.
Yeah, so Pheenoh is doing like the backup that loses like 10 seconds compared to getting it. It's not that bad, but it's of course still a time loss. So back in the day, we didn't know about the Epona gate clip by doing a side up. So what we had to do was get Epona over there, position her so that you could like roll into the gate repeatedly without being too far away, and eventually you would clip because like the gate is like swinging back and forth, and if you did it properly, the gate swung like towards you and then kind of like pulled you in as you were jump attacking again, or rolling, I mean.
Yeah, it's like the gate would swing, and then Epona's, I guess, collision, for lack of a better word, would just push Link forward while the gate swings, and you would clip through it. And it's like, you would be so happy to get that within like 3 bonks or something, maybe even like 5.
Oh
like,
god, yes.
Your heart rate monitor would go up like 50 beats.
Yeah.
And now it's like you don't even care because it's so consistent.
On a good run, if you were getting it under 5, you were probably finishing the run.
Yeah, and then you get it on a good run in like 60 tries, and then you just don't play for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I've had, I don't know what my highest was. It was definitely 3-digit. Like I've had over 100 rolls. But of course that's semi my fault, because if you have that many rolls, you either are really, really unlucky or the setup wasn't 100% correctly.
38 cycle Zelda, anyone?
Yeah, kind of like that.
So Nimzo dash canceling in Castletown, it's faster overall if you don't make any mistakes. He had this small slip up, but some areas of the game, dashing isn't as fast. And if you do a dash cancel repeatedly, it's actually faster speed.
Have you ever seen that hop he did rather than the side up? That was interesting.
Yeah, I think I've seen it from him. Oh, only him. Everyone else does like a side hop, or at least tries to.
What a trendsetter.
I don't like it.
Not approved by Jeradam.
No, we were talking about the bug there and how consistent it is, and I told him it's just movement, really.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just more awkward if you do the jump over versus a side hop.
That bug, people also believe that it's RNG, whether or not it's like it lands so it's running down, but it depends on like your speed and kind of like at what angle you break the boxes, because you push like the bug away as you do the jump attack, like the speed attack, and even if you don't do it successfully, you still have like a very small time window where you can just like wiggle yourself in between the bug and the wall and still have it run down fast.
So Nimzo skipping the first bug there. It's faster to kill the second one before the first one, technically, just because you don't have to stop your dashing on the Card Rock Rider. This fight coming up for Nimzo was also very different from back in the day. It got a lot more optimal.
So Nimzo is projected to finish the Twilight at like a 108.20 or so if it goes well.
So in this fight, Nimzo is doing, after the bug like flies around and swims, just has a nice fun time in the lake. When he goes to attack again, if you jump attack it, it'll like stun it, and then you can quickly jump attack again before it goes flying up. And that saves like 6 seconds or so on 2 cycles. It's kind of easy to mess up. It's not like super precise, but it's not the biggest window either. If you do it too early or too late, it'll fail. I don't know the actual frame data on it though, I'm not sure if you do.
What'd you say?
Do you know the frame data on the window to get the early bug cycle? Like where you knock it out of the air by jumping twice?
I no idea. It's different depending on its height. So if it's like, if you jump attack, or like if it's approaching you and it's like its whole body is like over the plank, it's very easy, you can mash it. But if it's like partially clipped into the plank, you have to wait super long for it to like ascend back up.
Yeah. No, I guess that's fair.
So the frames are different for sure. So Nimzo got a 108.18 linear, which is around 3 minutes away from a pretty good run, really optimal run. So still not that bad, still on sub 3 pace. Of course, much harder now, but still a pretty good run nonetheless for a race setting, at least. Considering he had like a 1 minute time loss for reroll. And Pheenoh is projected to get like a 110-ish time with no Gorge Void, miss reroll.
Do you remember what Pheenoh's PB is?
Yeah, 305. He can still PB.
Oh,
for sure.
yeah. I'd expect Pheenoh to... I wouldn't even be shocked if he PB'd in a race.
Yeah. I mean, he's way better than his time. It's not like... Yeah, it's not like us where it's pretty unlikely that we're gonna PB, but he'll get there eventually. So yeah, you saw Pheenoh have to like wait because part of like the bug's bottom was like in the plank, and if you would have jump attacked him immediately, he might have even gotten onto him, but then thrown off immediately again. So.
Yeah. So on Nimzo's side, he's howling at the Upper Zoras River Howling Stone just to get a Golden Wolf. Normally you get the ending blow, which is required to beat the game just by beating fair on Twilight, but it's skipped in the run. And the end to that fight that Pheenoh just did, where he made a charge off to the left, if you do it basically on the edge of the bug, between the bug and the water, the way it kind of like shoots the Binda charge from that angle, it'll make you bonk as soon as the cutscene starts, which makes it start immediately, rather than hit like going through all 6 or 8, however many legs the bug has. That was another optimization to that fight that was found around the same time as the jumping to I guess start each attack cycle earlier.
I think they just coded as soon as the attack stops, like start the cutscene, rather than make sure that every of the like 6 or 8 tentacles are hit.
Yeah, and doing it from there makes you bonk stopping the attack.
The bug's body has weird properties. It's like, for one, it's kind of hard to like climb it outside of water, but if you do, sometimes you get just popped up, and Link has like infinite speed.
800 speed, yeah.
We still need to like test it on GC, what speed you actually get. It's insane. You shoot forward so fast. You need to like press all the way down to like barely not fall into the water again. I'll be right back. I'll get some water.
So Nimzo emptying some bombs there. You can steal a bomb bag by warping out of Uku, yeah. Aizo's minigame with Uku, and it puts a bomb bag in your inventory. It just was never checked properly. But you don't get to keep it forever, and you need bombs to finish the run, so in order to get bombs, the most optimal place to get it is from Zora's Domain, a Goron in the water there. But in order to do that, I won't say you need water bombs, you can do it without, but it's not really worthy of a race. If you fail it, your run's dead. And it's like an almost double frame perfect trick. So emptying the water bombs in the pool there, or the normal bombs, is the fastest way to do it, as they'll just dissipate quickly in the water. And then just getting that chest for the water bombs.
Hello.
Hi.
So now, what you'll see Nimzo do is just like preparation for the Morphle fight coming up in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. Right now, Nimzo on the right side is ahead by around 2 minutes.
No, Void Kingdom is ahead.
Thanks, ESR bot.
So there, Nimzo used water bombs to get the bomb bag. So that one he'll actually keep. The one you steal from Isa, it goes away if you save, warp, or die. Or beat a dungeon.
There's like a theoretical trick. People don't really go for it. Where you can bypass having to like empty out your bombs to get water bombs to get the bomb back. You can actually do like a chain of certain tricks to get like a normal bomb into the water, delay its fuse until it's low enough. Saves like 15 seconds, but it's really hard and not worth it because it immediately kills your run for those 15 seconds if you fail.
Normally to climb Snow Peak you need the Reek Fish scent, but there's this glitch called Map Glitch, which puts Link in a state where loading zones and certain voids or triggers don't take effect. It happens if you warp away while calling Midna at the same time on the same frame. You'll start the warp once you warp, but then it gets interrupted by Midna, and you stay there. That puts Link in the other state. Which is normally an issue, because if you were to dig into the mountain, going to the transition area to the other side, you would just soft block. But luckily there's a Howling Stone at the top, where if you howl, it'll force load you into another area, which you can go back and it puts Link in the proper state again.
My guess for the finish is, I mean, Nimzo is a good 2 minutes ahead. There's of course so much that could still happen. In fact, Morpheal could definitely break even, or have them break even. It's not really likely for any of those two to die to her. It's a really consistent fight if you know what you're doing. There's still a small chance. But knowing how much time Nimzo has put into practicing endgame lately, I don't know how much time Pheenoh has put into it, but I do think that Nimzo is actually really, really consistent for his skill level, for the endgame at least. He can match most of my segments even. I half raced him in a race before, and he kept up almost the entire run with me. So if he just plays how he usually plays, or at least sort of similarly, then he's projected to win.
Doing that long jump to the void skips having to open the Snow Peak Shadow Beast portal there. It'll void you out, but it changes the respawn point near Yeto, which puts you into the cutscene, where he'll just talk to you and then you go down the mountain.
So Pheenoh did the same thing with Map Glitch here. So you're just gonna run through. Interesting side effect to skip the messenger fight is having the fog not cleared. Or I guess it's fog. Which makes the snowboarding section a lot harder than the normal way of just seeing everything, because you have to just go by feel where to jump, because you can't really see much in front of you.
Have you ever messed with the snowboard, I'll call it, in the Shadow Beast fight?
I haven't, but yeah, I've seen you do it.
Yeah. If you go on the snowboard, you can go backwards and get up to that initial slope, and then go back to the fight that you skipped. And it's really weird because you're in there on the snowboard.
You slide into the barrier as it builds up.
Yeah.
So this is like the finicky part that Nimzo is doing, where it's easy to void on, because you can just jump into nothing, because you can't see in front of you. It loses around like a minute if you void there. Happens relatively frequently at beginner level play. Happens maybe once every like 50 attempts for good people. Not 50, maybe like 25 or so. I haven't voided in forever. I don't want to jinx myself. Ooh, Nimzo golding even. 0.1.
And transform. Unlucky for Pheenoh. That cave is annoying if the keys hit you.
Nimzo is gonna start off immediately completely different from a casual way of doing this dungeon. You can LJ over there and then just claw shot through the ceiling because it doesn't have collision on both sides, only one side. Another double LJ here.
They're dropping bombs to empty the bomb bag. It's not really... I mean, I guess this one is their bomb bag now, as opposed to the stolen one from Isa that has water bombs. They need water bombs in their bomb bag to keep it throughout the rest of the run. So it's just optimal to empty the bomb bag on certain areas with downtime where you don't lose any time, really, emptying it. So like right before a door or a void out is a pretty good spot to do it. For every bomb you don't empty, you have to stand next to water and just pull them out, waiting to empty it. Versus spending a frame or two just to do it.
Nimzo did a trick called freezer skip here, where you B attack in between a door frame and the freezer, but you don't clip the door, you clip the freezer, allowing you to enter the door from behind without having to actually destroy it with the cannon. There's a cool trick here, like a small optimization where you can place a bomb right behind his tail, just as he's getting vulnerable, the bomb hits him, and then you can just finish it off with a jump attack quick spin. Pretty hard fight casually, I want to say. He does a lot of damage with the ball and chain, and it's kind of hard to have him throw the ball and chain because you need to like circle him almost or be behind him with a claw shot, but we can finish it off pretty quickly. So now Nimzo's safe warping, which also deletes his stolen bomb bag from his inventory, which is the reason why we have to get a real bomb bag and put water bombs in it, because at some point later on we need water bombs again. If we only needed water bombs from more fuel, we could just carry the stolen bomb bag all the way through, but we do need water bombs later on, and so we can't have our bomb bag be gone after save warps.
It's really just needed for Zant, the water bombs.
Yeah.
Palace skip would be huge. It would just skip Palace, of course, but the need for water bombs, the need for going to Snow Peak.
I love this collision. Oh, what? What a strat. Holy shit. Have you seen that before?
No.
So good. The zoomer teaching the boomer.
I don't know. I guess I'm not surprised that works, but usually there's a Helmosaur that you target and then just jump all the way off. I don't know if he knows that or just... I don't know.
The zoomer luck.
Just don't be bad, don't mess up in the first place. So here Nimzo's doing a pretty neat big key skip where you clip into the bridge and then you can use Link's ear to look for your position and then fall into the water and...
Yeah, because he uses ear. So if you really want to do this successfully, you use his pouch that he has around his waist.
I was hoping he would do the ancient bomb clip strat, but he's too new.
He's a zoomer.
Yeah.
After all.
It's fighting him now.
No, but yeah, there's like, you can either use his ear or his pouch to line yourself up properly, and then you can just do 3 backflips and get into the room. And the only reason, like, this is the only boss key skip you're probably ever gonna see in this game, because this dungeon has a unique property where the boss room is not linked, or the boss loading zone is not linked to the boss door, because how this game works with doors or loading zones is the loading zone gets triggered with the door opening cutscene. So like there's no, in like Ocarina of Time, you can see like people get behind the door and then just enter loading zones. You don't have that here. It's tied, or like it's chained to the door opening cutscene. So, and every other boss door in this game has a boss door and not just like a room with the boss loading zone, which is why you won't see any other boss key skips, most likely. Unless you can somehow trigger the loading zone without having to open the door.
I think it's been confirmed that it's like not possible. Like Lake Bed's the only one, just because of what you said with the doors. You can get out of bounds and go behind the door to Blizzetta in Snow Peak.
Yeah.
But it just, there's no trigger. It's with the door.
So Morphified, pretty infamous, like, fight. People used to die a lot to her because we didn't properly understand certain aspects of like the fight and how you spread your air refills. Did you explain air refill glitch?
No.
Okay. You can use this, you see, like you can use water bomb swimming to refill your air, because how it works is the game, or like the game's, he's too far. Oh wow, surprised he latched on. He looked very far away. So Pheenoh just entered the fight. Nimzo getting the regrab. Okay, Nimzo's good.
A fast regrab.
Yeah. He's losing time, but that's fine. So yeah, so again, the water refill glitch. How it works is the game. No, how did it go off? So like you pull a bomb, mid-pull, you force unequip your iron boots, so you start swimming with the water bombs in your hand. And the game doesn't really know, or it doesn't really expect you to have a water bomb in your hand while swimming or being underwater. It's usually not possible without wearing iron boots. So if you force unequip your iron boots, you're like in this in-between stage where the game doesn't really know, or it doesn't really have a result for that. So what it does is it assumes that you're on land and gives you air because you're apparently on land, until it realizes, oh, he's actually in water, and then the air gauge starts again. And then you can just do that over and over again. If you do too fast, or like if you let go of the bomb too fast, you see this like rocket link glitch you saw earlier where he got the bomb back from the Goron. So kind of weird to explain, but really just as dumb as it sounds, the game gets confused and thinks you're on land when really you're on water, and gives you your air back.
It'd be cool if there was an opposite to that, like instead of rocket link, like rocket sink, where you just like immediately go to the bottom.
Yeah. That would save time for Morpho too.
Yeah. You could probably do color clip as well with Lake Hylia at the full water state, like easily, without losing a lot of time doing the I forget how exactly you do it. I think it's the Cuckoo dive or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Coco Dive, you're right.
It's just too slow to do that. If you could do it immediately though, it would be faster for the route.
Pheenoh getting kind of unlucky with that's like the RNG aspect to her. She can just swim around, ignore you, or be way too high up, and there's not really much you can do about that. He's too far away. Yeah. So now he's getting himself sucked in. It's kind of risky to do, but it enables you to actually do the regrab properly. Oh no, jeez. He's only one hit away, so that's why he didn't equip the iron boots. As long as he doesn't die, it's still fine. It's just kind of dumb. He's
so high up.
Bombs, yeah.
He can't get sucked in too. He'll die.
Yeah, he'll die. So, yeah, he's wasting a lot of water bombs. That's unfortunate because you do need some for later parts. But you can kind of not care about any except for 2. You really need at least 2 for Zant later on. Yeah, so at least he's finishing her, not dying. That's pretty good. Dying to her loses around 3.5 minutes with a fast backup, so. Nimzo got an optimal fight with 2 bombs. It's not the most optimal though. If you can get the fight, or like you can finish the fight using only 1 bomb to refill your air, and that's like the very first one you actually use. But it's really RNG dependent on her like swim pattern. She needs to approach you immediately to have air, and then she needs to swim in a way that you can actually get the first regrab consistently. So it's very RNG heavy, execution heavy, and saves like 20 seconds if you're really fast. Yeah, and what Imsurgent said, up to like, if he wants, he could just get water bombs in city if he doesn't feel like doing backup strats in the other moments, but it's not that slow to not have water bombs available to you.
Is there with a double bonk on the wall?
I thought the stream just like jumped back, but he actually did jump back twice. Yeah. Both Pheenoh and Nimzo getting the Lake Bithar container. It's not really common at top play, but Pheenoh I totally understand because he was at 1 heart, so it's kind of risky that he could just die if he avoids. But yeah, usually you actually only get 1 heart container, and that's City in the Sky. Reason why you want a heart container at least is because Palace of Twilight has a lot of weird moments where you just get hit even though that you just can't really avoid, and there's like a trick where you take 1 heart of damage or 2 hearts of damage on purpose to go fast.
The thing that Nimzo did looked interesting. He did a dash cancel by jumping between segments, like over the water. That looked pretty fast. I don't think that was intentional, though.
I didn't see.
It was before jumping on the chain, which opens it to the area with the spiders in the web. Normally you just like do 2 dashes up to the chain, but
yeah,
after the first dash it was like over the water, but he landed on the ground still.
No.
Like he did a dash cancel and then just kept going.
Yeah, MDH is mostly casual, glitchless, however you want to call it. It's just movement optimization. Whoa.
Okay.
What? I've never seen that.
That first one was weird. It's like he didn't even jump, he just like warped.
Yeah.
Game's very optimized. I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about it, but I guess I'm gonna talk about it. I don't know. I don't know. It depends on. I guess it's everyone's opinion, but I think it's probably up there as one of the most optimal, considering what's in the run.
For its length, thankfully,
Yeah,
like
that too.
length, possible time save ratio is way lower than any other Zelda game, I would say. Or at least 3D Zelda game.
I mean, it might be different now because all the other ones suck except for Skyward Sword. And I guess Breath of the Wild.
Nimzo getting an early cycle here. I was curious why he lost so much time, but then I remembered the double jump attack.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we're getting the ending blow wolf that you usually get much earlier. Yeah, I think the cool thing about TP is you can just have game feed of like the top 5 people and you'll know exactly who is who, just because there's still so much diversity in movement and the way you do certain tricks.
Spiders must hurt Pheenoh so much.
Yeah. The thing about that is the Wolf Link always tries to like look at enemies. So, and since the side of the stick is lit, like you can't just turn around the way you want him to, because he keeps looking at the enemies.
So the game's coded when you get the first hidden skill, which is normally after Faron Twilight, where you get the free wolf, that it puts you back in North Faron. So even if you get a hidden skill from a different location as your first one, it'll still force warp you to North Faron.
So in a sense, it's like a wrong warp. There's a theoretical way of doing different wrong warps. Nice.
Jeez, Pheenoh skipping half the rope.
So like the map where you're on when you howl on a howling stone, like afterwards, like in this like other dimension with the golden wolf, actually every loading zone of the howling stones is always present there. So if you'd have moon jump or you'd had any way to like cross larger gaps, you could just jump over to the other howling stone areas and then actually respawn there if you just exit. That would enable you to get to like Snow Peak super early, for example. Let's see if Pheenoh gets the early cycle here. Yeah, very good. This is another like chill part of the run now. You get after a midness per hour, you just do some movements and then go through the desert and then enter arbiters, and that's where hell begins.
If I could do the run except arbiters, that'd be great.
I was just gonna say arbiters is your favorite part, so I'm just gonna have you explain the things there.
No, I signed up for half. I'm out. Desperate hours over. The run is officially like 53% done.
53%, wow.
Yep. Okay, for real though, I'm going, so good
Okay.
luck with commentary.
Thanks.
Is anyone else joining later?
I don't know. I'm fine with going solo for now.
Okay, well, have fun.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye bye. Oh wow, I got kicked. What the heck? I was talking for like the past half hour. Okay, not half hour, but ever since Adam left. That's super dumb. Well, I guess it's lost forever. I actually told you about my new finding, barrier skip, and I'm not gonna repeat myself, so see ya. Yeah, no, I was just talking about how Arborist is a pretty hard dungeon, and I was explaining how the Nimzo going for the old school post skip. Let's see if you can get it. No, he's okay. Why did I get kicked? Adam left, and then apparently I got kicked too. Okay, Nimzo doing a thing called post skip. As you saw him, like, as he entered the main room, there was like this cutscene with the Poe, and usually you would just like fight that Poe, but you can skip it because how they programmed it is the game only checks for the last 3 Poes because it assumes that you have or must have fight or like you must have beaten the first Poe to proceed because you need to like sniff its scent to move on. But doing post skip or like doing this like pillar jump enables you to just skip the first one, saving around a minute just by routing and less cutscenes. So yeah, Arborist itself is like there's so much that can happen. For one, of course, like the post skip thing. 2, there's like a trick called Desert Skip. You won't really see anyone do it, I think. I don't think Nimzo is gonna attempt it. I think Pheenoh might attempt it. It's a pretty hard trick, saving like 20 seconds or so. Yeah, and then there's just like many RG aspects too. Like for example, this Poe 4 fight that Nimzo just had, it can give you extra cycles. One extra cycle is like 5 seconds. So yeah. DSS is easy, sure thing, bro. Why rip? I'm not gone. I was just... There's not really that much to talk about. It's just a bunch of just movement in the game itself. God, I wish I could find another skip. That would make my life so much easier, but that's just not how it works, unfortunately. There has been recent attempts to break the game further, but the game is actually pretty well coded. Pheenoh tried to do like a small manipulation where they start, or like Pro 4 starts spinning faster, but it didn't work. I mean, oh, Nimzo did the thing. Wow. Nimzo did like a small optimization with the chain. Immediately being pulled. He figured it out, it seems. I'm gonna ask. Yeah, he just did that really fast. Saves like 2 seconds or so. Oh, no way. Pheenoh forgot to sniff for the scent. It seems. So yeah, he either has to do pull skip again, or in his case now, he has to fight pull 1. That's really unfortunate. Because why you have to sniff is if you don't have the scent equipped, I guess, you can't dig up the chain that you need to get into the second basement. It's still faster. Like, it's still faster to do the bow skip route by like 30 seconds or so. Yeah, just kind of sucks that he couldn't save the full minute. It actually does save. Nimzo being stubborn, trying to be on top of the thing. So yeah, Nimzo is definitely projected to win this. It seems he's a good 5 minutes ahead at this point. And endgame doesn't give that much purpose to lose that amount of time. At least not for this skill level that they're both at. So yeah, coming up is a desert fight. As I said earlier, there is a possibility to skip it. Don't think we're gonna see Nimzo do it. I hope for Pheenoh to at least showcase it. It's not easy at all, so it's like one of these tricks where you think you figured it out and then it ends up not working again until you figure it out again. So yeah, Nimzo doing a really cool strat where you ball and chain Death Sword, and like 5 is the most hits you can do. There's like a theoretical 6. I think Ace has done it once where like you double hit him, but I don't think you can actually do like sword slashes for that. So yeah, really fast fight. 153 spinner. He's around like 5 minutes behind a really fast time. So still on sub 3 pace. It's gonna be much harder to get though. Like, you don't see his splits, but they say his best possible time is 2:58.17. So he'd need to play within a minute 40 of his summer best to still get sub 3. But yeah, with the PB of 2:58, you're kind of not really expected to get sub 3 in a race setting. He almost did get it last time, but he also played really good last time. This time he did have some sloppy mistakes, like the rupee roll thing happening to him. But I think unfortunately both runners are kind of locked out from PBing at this point. You know, like, you can kind of project the run's time by seeing the arbiter's time. So if you play really solid, it's exactly an hour from arbiters to the end. So looks like Nimzo is getting, if he plays fine, he's getting a low 159 arbiters, maybe even a high 58 if he gets a really good segment. And so if you add an hour, he's still in sub 3 pace, but again, you need to play really solid for to have like an hour, what's it called, to have like an hour flat arbiter stand segment. Best people have done, I think Ace has the best arbiters to end segment in his PB. I think he got like 59:30 or something, which is really fast. I can check what my saw best time is actually. So my sound best finishes arbiters at 151.49, and my sound best is at 250.48. So yeah, 58, 57. Wait, is that correct? Add 58. That would be. Can't do maths right now. 9 minutes added would be, yeah, 58 or like a 59 flat almost. So A's played within like 30 seconds of my sound best, which is really insane. So Pheenoh coming up to Death Sword. I hope he does Death Sword skip. I think he does attempt it, because he was also the guy who actually found out that it's doable. There's been theories, but he tested and found that it's possible to do. So I hope he actually goes for it. Oh no, he doesn't. Interesting. Okay. I mean, yeah, how it's done is you lure him into a certain corner, have him attack you while you charge, like have like a midnight charge, and then he like starts raising and fly away, and you can use like similar to like the EMS super jump, you use like a way higher super jump to just get on top of like the thing there. Nimzo, yeah. Oh dang. Oh, nice. So there's like an early stellar hit Nimzo just did. You usually just get it by doing a certain roll combo and walking forward. but you can do like a backup with a break slide. What a break slide is weird to explain, but you can kind of like roll, target, and hold like ESS down, and Link starts to like. Link has like this animation where he like slowly tries to like break himself, like to have himself go slower, just like get rid of speed, whatever, and slow himself down. And you can extend that animation or like use this this negative speed that you kind of get that way. You can use a negative speed, let go of targets, still holding ESS, which results into Link doing like a backwards walk, almost like a moonwalk, but like fast speed. And Stallard seeing you Stallard is reacting to your negative speed because he's coded that if you have negative speed, which usually means you're like walking back, he's gonna follow you. But if you do a break slide, you have negative speed but still go forward, which makes Stallard go like back towards you, which enables you to do like an early hit if you get on the spinner, because then he's so close that you just hit him with the spinner. There's a slight chance you actually go past him. There's also a backup for that, which I don't know of. I was just also informed that that's the case. But usually, again, maybe Pheenoh will get it. You just get it by doing like 5 rolls, a couple extra steps, and then getting on the spinner. It was accidentally found by Thursday, who was just messing around with the fight and some random rolls, and then he just got on the spinner and knocked him down super quickly. Saves like 25 seconds, I think. So now that Arborist is done, Nimzo is gonna go and warp the cannon to Lake Hylia to go to City in the Sky next. The second, or yeah, I guess it's like the third to last dungeon. Oh, holy crap, Lola. Holy shit, that was fast. So what Nimzo did there is a trick called early cannon or early City in the Sky. It saves, I think, 40 minutes or an hour even, because you bypass having to beat Snow Peak and Temple of Time. And you skip those 2 dungeons, and you also skip having to do the whole like what's it called? The quest, the Ancient Skybook quest. Forbidden words. You're not here to stop me, Adam. And yeah, it saves a good chunk of time. A fire trucking amount of time. So yeah, not really much happening at Nimzo's point right now. He's just gonna have a cutscene and warp to, or like get shot to City. So we'll look at Pheenoh and see if he can get the early hit the normal proper way. Yeah, there you go. So that's how you usually do it. Also really close. Pheenoh also almost missed it, but he was able to save it by getting off the spinner quickly, or shooting off with the spinner. And yeah, usually this fight is not a 1 cycle fight. Like, it's programmed to have 2 phases where there's additional spinners on the sides. But if you just chain quick spins, you just like stun lock him into, and then you can just own him. There's multiple ways to do it. You can like jump attack quick spin like 5 times, or you can just chain quick spins. I know Wii does, since Wii has like a cooldown for quick spins, It does like a jump attack, quick spin, a couple slashes until the cooldown is down. Then again, the quick spin, jump attack, quick spin, another slash combo, something like that. So actually, Pheenoh, same rule as Nimzo applying. If he plays really solid, he can still PB by over a minute technically. So guess it's not over, but for a race, and I don't think either of those two are actually at the skill level yet where it's expected for them to, or like if they're, or let me word it differently. I think it would really surprise me if they are able to play within, or like within like a minute of my summer best till the end. Not because they're bad, but because there's so many tricks that can actually just cost you like 20 seconds immediately, failing it once. And it's a race setting too, so there's many things that can go wrong. Not to say they're bad, again, they're really, really good runners. Both definitely able to get sub 3 times. But, yeah. An hour average to end, hour flat is a really, really solid time. Not really expected in races. My race yesterday, for example, I had my race yesterday, I had average 157. Yeah, I had 1 hour and 2 minute segment. So I lost 2 minutes myself. And I would consider myself a bit more consistent at the end game. And I have a better PV too, of course, but again, it's beside the point. It's really hard in its own to play within an hour. To finish average to end in an hour. So getting that small key sets your safe warp value back to the chest, because what Nimzo did there is like a small cutscene skip of Argark flying and destroying the bridge, and the developers didn't want you to just skip that cutscene by safe warping, so they changed like where you respawn if you save warp, and they said it so if you don't. If you watch the cutscene, then your save warp position is being set back to the beginning or like the entrance. So once Nimzo's getting double clash shots, he's gonna safe warp and he's gonna land right next to the chest again, even though you technically are supposed to land back in the pool outside. And it doesn't save as much time as it used to, because back in the day we would actually do the second half of City pretty differently from now, which I'll go into a bit later on. But yeah. So Nimzo is in what I call the LJA room of City. There's a lot of LJAs happening here. You can do 4. Optimally, you can even cut it down to 2. I do 3, but yeah. 3 isn't slower than 2, really. I think city music is actually pretty interesting. It's really good, but it has some pretty creepy aspects to it. And I think like it's really good mixed with sound, just game sound in general. Yeah, Pheenoh getting extra water bombs. But I'm not entirely sure if I could just sit there or just sit around and listen to the music just on its own as I do like something else. Like, because it's just kind of just on its own without any game sound, it is kind of creepy, not gonna lie. But as like as an addition to game sound, it's pretty good. So yeah, Nimzo entering the Arolfos boss fight, and Pheenoh's gonna do something that I haven't talked about yet. Nimzo did it earlier. So you can get really close to that door, and then as you see, they do like a weird kind of, it's seemingly pointless transformation into wolf just to open the door, but there's like a trigger that controls the big fan in the main room, and it gets triggered by Link's feet, but Wolf's back paws. And wait a sec, Nimzo is doing it. Yeah. Oh, very fast. So Nimzo did a trick called Aralfo skip. There's like a 1 or 2 pixel window where you can aim your claw shot at and just bypass the whole fight by claw shotting straight through the gate. But yeah, so back to the door opening thing. So you kind of have to imagine the door that Pheenoh went through as Wolf as having like a trap wire in front of it that gets set if you like cross it with your feet. That trap wire triggers the fan in the main room to start spinning. It starts to spin, and the trap wire is activated by Link's feet. The trap wire is not activated by Wolf Link's front paw, only his back paws. So if you like what's it called? If you like slowly approach the door and open it from the furthest away point you can open it, you never actually trigger the invisible like wire, because opening the door actually like completely opening the door deactivates Link's like paw to nice. Nimzo getting the hop. That hop's so weird. No one knows what happens. It has to be like some pixel that is not actually solid, or just some void that Link just hops over. But yeah, so long story short, that fan that Nimzo just rolled over usually spins around, which means that you have to go all the way from the back just to deactivate it. So not having it activated at all actually means you can get the boss key much earlier. And this trick was kind of the breakthrough for TP 80% being sub 3 hours, or being possible to be sub 3 hours. And shortly after, I think Rodner was the first person to get sub 3 hours in this game with this trick. Yeah, I was almost sure it's gonna fail. Nimzo tried to do like a double J, but he was kind of too far away from the ledge. Yeah, and if you claw shot from like a higher ground to the very top of these fans, you you can grab that most upper edge Pheenoh having some trouble with the LJ here. Also doing... Yeah, he's dying. No, don't get hit by the keys. Oh my god. He tried to do my strats where you like jump attack. Nice. Where you jump attack pass over a gap. But it's kind of precise, so it's expected to fail almost. Yeah, Nimzo is like the fan tower segment. It's just really aim heavy, and there's like, if you're really fast at aiming, you can actually bypass one like that. Very nice. Yeah, he bypassed having to drop off and then get on the second cycle. Saves like 10 seconds. Not particularly hard, but it's like you need to be really fast and confident at aiming. Also, something I didn't mention earlier at Nimzo's point is the room Pheenoh is in right now. It has a trick called Uku Jump. It's just a small, like, not to call it skip, but you skip having to like pull certain levers. Pheenoh messing it up. It's kind of hard, but it's not that bad, but kind of dumb sometimes because collision in this game is weird. But yeah, you can just bypass having to like activate certain levers by just using the Uku to grab this ledge barely like that. Nimzo is an Argork fight. It's an auto-scroller. It's kind of, not to say lame, but it's definitely not an exciting part of the run. There's not much happening here. 100% actually has a really interesting 100% has an interesting way of fighting it because it's a 3-cycle fight, but 100% has fairy tears available which do double damage, or which set. Oh, nice! Pheenoh got like a drop down. That it saves a couple. It's like 1 frame, but it saves a couple frames because you're immediately in the cutscene and the camera doesn't have to zoom towards you. Now another, like, and then there's like a setup for their awful skip that Pheenoh did. Is he getting it? Oh yes, okay. He voided. Oh no, that's unfortunate. So you saw him actually having to correct his like angle. Yeah, he's not getting straight rolls. It seems. If he gets this, oh my god. No, okay, yeah. He needs to set it up again. He had to like move to the left or to the right, and there's a chance of you voiding on the gate if you land on a certain position, I guess. It's rather unfortunate because he did get the trick itself, the hard part of it. Okay, nice. No, it's not about dropping, it's more about where you claw shot. You saw him move to the right and to the left, and that kind of messes with it. What is Nimzo doing? Oh my god. Yeah, he tried to be too fast. So, looking at their splits, Pheenoh is 7 minutes behind Nimzo right now. Not something you can catch up, but... I don't know what Nimzo is doing. That's the thing Adam was talking about actually. Nimzo doesn't know how to properly fight it seems. So, yeah, he kind of doesn't know what to do. You just want him to wait for him to breathe fire. And then, yeah, and then you just go around. Oh my god. Yeah, it's funny that Pheenoh, Adam mentioned it earlier, but Pheenoh is way more experienced. Pheenoh probably knows, yeah, if you fail, you just go around him, lose like 3 seconds or something. There you go. But Nimzo didn't, so he's a bit confused what to do. Yeah. My furious typing was actually in his chat telling him to just fight casually, so... Yeah. But if you haven't played the game a lot casually and you only ever learned the speed strats, of course it's kind of intimidating to just do casual on the fly if you don't exactly know what to do, so... Lost a very big chunk of time here, so Pheenoh can definitely gain back around 2 minutes, maybe even 3 minutes. Nimzo kinda low. Yeah. At least he knows this backup. Oh god. No. He was a bit too low. Please just fight him casually. Yeah, just wait. Go, go, just, yeah. Now he needs to switch, like, mid-fight. I don't know if that works, actually. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, very nice. Just do that. Yeah, I could tell. Damn, he actually lost 4 minutes. So Pheenoh got it all the way back if he does a normal fight. Not all the way, of course, but like a good 3 minutes or something. So I guess it's kind of still doable for Pheenoh if Nimzo messes up more, but then again, I mean, I'm eating my words very hard right now, thanks to Nimzo, but again, there's not really that much where like end game can actually steal time if you play properly or no backups. Pretty unfortunate. He was definitely still on pace for sub 3. Or, I mean, kind of. But yeah, it makes the race a bit closer now. Yeah, losing 4 minutes, that's pretty rough. But TP is TP in the end. But that, no, it's kind of wrong for me to say it's TP. That was all on Nimzo, really. Understandable again, because he's not the most experienced runner, but yeah, exactly what Nimzo said. Racing, it comes down to knowing backups and not getting intimidated by time lost. So that was interesting on Pheenoh's side. He also dropped very low, but he was fine. Did I say? Oh god. I'm just not gonna say any names. You saw Nimzo also equipping iron boots to drop onto the bridge, because if you don't, you just land in the water, which loses time, because you technically just want to warp as soon as possible. It's yeah, you're right. It's Sunday. Not to mention that I have to get up in like 8.5 hours to help moving. Palace is a pretty hard dungeon. People say it's like... Broggles yesterday said it's boring, which I 100% disagree with. Not especially the second half. The first half I can kind of see if you call it boring, but there's a lot to it actually, and the second half is everything but boring. There's so many like movement intensive things, very precise throws, many LJs, strict timing. I think it's also Nimzo's expectations on this run just completely died down now, so yeah. He's not really nervous at this point. Only way I can see him get nervous is if Pheenoh catches up really close to him, so... For me personally, I would almost say I play worse if I'm not somehow nervous or like, yeah, guess nervous fits. Because if I don't have anyone who like forces me to play good, I just tend to just play sloppy or just try out things and whatever. So competition is good. Yes, Pheenoh saved back a ton. He's only, let's see, 16:24. Yeah, he's 3.5 minutes behind Nimzo right now, instead of 7. Nimzo doing an interesting strat on Zand. It's like the fastest, it's the second fastest strat you could do. You can kind of like stun lock him, or not stun lock, but like his usual fight pattern is, you combo him and then he starts vigorously warping around back and forth. But if you always keep him on like the edge, you can actually just prevent him from warping around by damaging him a certain way. Pheenoh also entering Palace now, while Nimzo finishing the West Wing. West Wing is arguably easier than the right wing, or East Wing, I guess. But on the way back, I'd say West Wing is harder than East Wing. Because of like these kind of throws. Or it's really just this room that makes it harder. On the east side, you don't really have anything that's hard on the way back with the soul. Yeah, like 3 minutes is not impossible to save back. It's hard, but like a death to Water's End, for example, could definitely give a minute back or something. Zelda alone, in the worst case, can lose you up to a minute, so it's not over yet. This room is also kind of tricky. This makes East Wing a bit harder, because where the Phantoms are, like the Zant head spawns, changes the whole outcome of the room. So optimally you want him to spawn at the very end of the room, so you can just go very fast around with the platforms. Yeah. But if he spawns at the beginning or like in the center, then you have to change the strat. Here's the neat little double hit on the Phantom, the Zant heads, and this is also a really cool strat where you hit them twice on the way there and then back, and then finish off the first one. Barely missing the Spidey shot. Just a little thing where you can like no scope aim the target. And then a small LJA to just cross over this gap.
Ich habe das Wein gekauft, ich komme nicht durch.
So yeah, normal second fight. It's exactly the same fight for the East Wing Phantom Zant. But yeah, as you see now, like on the way back, it's not gonna be that much harder. just to throw a roll during the cutscene, and then you can clutch out the soul back up in here. Both of them actually having the closest spawn, I think. Pretty interesting. This room can be kind of tricky, but it's not that bad really. Yeah, just some platform jumps. Nimzo throwing the boomerang to get a hard drop from the keys. They 100% of the time drop hearts. I don't think I've ever seen them not drop a heart. Nimzo having a pretty good segment. He's actually saving some time back in his PB. You can't see him, but yeah. He got an 11th, yeah, he golded by 5 seconds. He got an 11:13 segment. A really good time would be an 11:05 or so. Like, insane. My goal was like 11:09. But I know that 11:05 is possible. Oh, Pheenoh messing up the LJ, unfortunately. So yeah, as I was saying earlier, now second part of Palace starts, and this is actually a really intense segment in my opinion. Probably one of my favorite / challenging segments where I spend a lot of time practicing. Those soul throws on their own are not that easy actually as they look. Small of Jada saves like 2 seconds. You can actually hit all 3 of those sand heads in one hit. And this like the strat Nimzo does, I actually found that. So what it does is you can light up the light bulbs there, whatever, and side up off. That way they still stay intact, as you can see here. Now he messed up, but that skips. It saves like a second or so. It's really just an optimization, because you can use, since you have to wait for the chest to appear anyway, you can use that time to quick spin. That way you don't have to do it after. This outside part has a strat called Mofall. Oh, he did the slash. Yeah, playing kind of sloppy. It's not that bad, it's like seconds lost, but still. Yeah, the strat is called Mofall. Like, you used to get the boss key first, and then do this outside part, but I like this part with the Zant head. But it's faster to do it that way because you can use it, because you can hit like the Zant heads one cycle earlier. So you can get the boss key, and then on the way down you can hit all 3 of them at the same time rather than having to wait for them.
Okay.
So Nimzo is now in the early platform room.
So,
Why it's called like that is because there's like a platform up there that is like on a cycle, and the earliest cycle you can get is what you like kind of like try for. And so yeah, just with like precise movement and like some LJs, you can get like the earliest cycle. Like that. Oh my god. That was scary. Falling down is not that bad, but it is really stupid. Say it loses like 30 seconds. Once you've been up there, there's like a platform that raises all the way to the top. It's this one, I think. Oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, Nimzo finishing up Palace. Thing left is now Zand, while Pheenoh is now in the outside part, also doing Mofall. Pheenoh doing kinda scary LJ. Saves like a second. Because you don't have to, or like the Zand head doesn't spawn before you do. Pheenoh also doing Mofall successfully. Oh, nice. Nimzo got. You can have one cycle Gormine Zand if you saw, as you saw there. It's a like 3-frame window, I think. But it saves at least like 12 seconds or so, 10 to 12, depending on how fast you get the first phase done. Oh, Pheenoh messing up the LJ. So yeah, and this fight is the only reason why we need a true bomb bag with water bombs and the ball and chain for the later Zend. I started talking about routes earlier. So there's this route, there's a bite route, and then there's also both routes with the Zora armor alternative. Oh jeez. And Zora armor is also just barely slower than the actual routes, because why it's slower is because it's you get out of your way to go get the Zora armor actually, but it saves time on the Morpheal fights, because that one is of course way faster without bombs with Zora armor. And you also bypass having to get bombs at all. but it also means that you have to do extra slow strats where bombs save time. So it's kind of like a. That's why it's not if or. I have so many thoughts that I want to say, so they mix. But essentially, Zorma would be faster if it wasn't so so slow to go out of the way for it. And we almost had a new route, but it's just not faster, unfortunately. Zorma just slowly got competitive last year, yeah, because a guy called Mr. Man. Mr. Man found a way to skip the whole King Bubble 2 fight, saving even more time for Zora Armor. So people were hoping that it might be faster just to have a different route finally, but it ended up giving us extra routes and making more feel easier for beginners without being it super slow. But it also made but then again, this route is still way overdue to finally being rerouted again, but we just can't do it. It's too hard. Bigger things that would save time, strats that would save time would be earliest Snow Peak, because like a way to enter Snow Peak area before clearing Elden or Linear Twilight. That would be pretty broken. Then you could like Palace skip would be super huge, because it would bypass having to get a bomb bag and ball and chain. There's also full post skip in Arbiters that would save at least like 8 minutes, depending on how fast it's done, of course. Yeah, and then of course early Hyrule Castle. That would also. The thing about TP, why glitch hunting it is so hard, or why finding something is pretty hard, is because it's like the whole game is like a system of like gears going into each other. So you can't, or like, trying to think, like you can't enter Palace without, or like you can't beat Palace without double claw shots, so you need to go into City. To go into City, you need to go into City, you need to warp the cannon. To warp the cannon, you need to have beaten Arbiters, or like you also need Arbiters to enter Palace. Without it's not soft lock with the cannon, and then to be able to warp the cannon, you need to beat MDH. To beat MDH, or to trigger MDH, you need to beat Lake Bed, and so on and so forth. So TP is just like super like clawed into each other, like geared one another, having like dependencies all around it. So it's really hard to like find anything that actually saves time. So yeah, right now people work on like on like finding some way of clipping with like pods similarly to Wind Waker, but there hasn't been anything found yet, because it also pushes you forward similar to the bomb push in Wind Waker. So if that could somehow push you through the pole gate, for example, or through any other barrier, that would be huge. So if Nimzo plays very, very solid, he can still get like a 303. If Pheenoh plays really solid, he can get a 3-0. Like a 307. Yeah. No, you can skip both in Hyrule Castle actually, Adrian. There's strats with like LJAs that you don't have to get. Yeah. You can do certain LJAs to skip both. Even the stairs, yeah. With the stairs, like the spinner stairs, you can do like an LJA and get hit by the spinners to land on these broken parts of the stairs. So that's not an issue. But like having new tricks and everything, yeah, that would be cool. But I also don't want TP to just have EHC. I think that would kill the beauty of like having to still do so many, like the movement and everything. If we could just cut it down by like 10 minutes, even that would already be so cool. I don't want like an hour TP 80% speedrun, but 2 hours or 2:30, 2:20, that would be a pretty cool length. Or at least just something new. Just to spice up the game again. Yeah, I think like the best thing that could happen right now would be a full post skip. That would be really cool. And earlier snow peak. Just to get rid of some dumb tricks. I wouldn't want Ace in this game. I think Ace would completely ruin... Ace ruins games. But like... No, it's weird. It's like different. Like for OOT, I think Ace perfectly fits OOT. Just because OOT already is such a broken game. Where you just like... It's just like one extra thing in its library. Like, yeah, it completely demolishes OOT, sure. But like, it doesn't make a game that was so unbroken completely broken. OOT already was by far the most broken N64 game, and now it's just even more broken. So it didn't change the whole game or the whole speedrun. But AS and TP, depending on the method, would just 360 the whole run twice. Again, I don't think it actually ruined OOT or MM speedrun wise. Yeah, 80% is super dumb, but 80% has always been super dumb in OOT for the past like 8 years. So TP's 80% is not super dumb. So there's not much. There's so much more to ruin. You know, OOT 80%, MM 80%. It was not. It's not ruined. It was already ruined. No, 80% record is the Ace record. Tori's 80% run is... I don't know. It's not... How, like, where do you draw the line? I can see Total Control being pretty stupid for 80%, but like Total Control, you don't play the game at all. Ace, you still do, like you still perform the glitch. So if you consider, like, if you say Tori's 80% run is the true 80% run, that's kind of dumb. Oh, Pheenoh doing barrier skip. Hopefully he'll get it. Nice. It doesn't really save time, but it's still cool, and just to show off. But yeah, back to Ocarina of Time. I think Ocarina of Time with Ace didn't make Ocarina of Time any percent worse than it already was. So I think the Ace 80% run should be the 80% run. I don't think the Total Control 80% run should be the 80% run. But yeah, I definitely don't think the 16, 15, 8 or 15, 9 should stay the 80% run or the time or whatever. But yeah, I would disagree with Total Control being the 80% time. But the like 9-minute something time from Lawsuit or something, that one's totally legit in my eyes. Alright, let's see if Pheenoh gets the cutscene skip. There's a 1 frame where you can do a backflip or equip iron boots, and then just pause and save warp. It saves like 5 seconds. No, he didn't get it. Welcome back, cute game. Ready for the best cutscene. The thing about that, Adrian, though, is that warping to the credits, that means that the 45-minute 80% runs that used to be, where you like Ferora's Wind from the Dongle's Cavern to the end credits, is also not legit. And I like, people only complain now, but no one complained back in the day, so it's kind of silly to just start this argument again. People accepted credits warp to be a legit way of beating the game, and why start arguing that now, even though the community had that happen ever since? Like, credits warp has been a thing since like 2012 or something with Ferora's Wind. And now you find it in 2020 again, and everyone was like, It's up to the communities to decide the definition of a speedrun in the end. The credits are still part of the end of the game, so if you are in the end of the game, you finished the game. That's kind of the main definition of a speedrun in my eyes. Yeah, Nimzo knew he was probably gonna get hit, so he just avoided. Yeah, exactly. 80% should always be the fastest way to beat the game by human, or like through a human execution. Total Control is not done by a human anymore, or like, it's also debatable. If you do Total Control, count that, you have to also count like every input you do beforehand, like all the like file name shenanigans and blah blah. Exactly. So I'm not against like an 80% no ace category, but I still do think it's kind of arbitrary to just add more and more categories just to keep like a category alive. I think people should just kind of move on from 80% no ace. Because we had that debate many times with like, oh, GIM breaks the game so hard, you don't even play it anymore, blah blah blah. We should add another category without GIM. Which is why I know I Am Wrong Warp was like, or like, people complain about RBA breaking the game too hard, so they added no RBA Wrong Warp. Then there was GIM found, so they were like, oh, GIM breaks no RBA Wrong Warp so hard, so they made no IM Wrong Warp and made no RBA Wrong Warp. What is it called now? GSM, Canon source, GSR, Canon source requirement. And then people were like, oh, no, I am wrong, warp breaks, all dungeons are MST too hard, so they just kept MST and made all dungeons. OT has so many categories, and I think it's kind of a good sign because it shows just how diverse the game is compared to TP where we have 4 and one is just slower, slower any percent essentially. Yeah, Nimzo and Zelda cutscene. It's complete RNG, how many cycles you get. 7 is the best. Infinite is theoretically the worst. The chances of getting anything beyond 15 is very, very slim though. I don't think anyone has actually gotten worse than 15. Unless they missed an orb, so... yeah. Cool setup strat. Hi, hello.
Last few minutes.
Oh, that's fine. It's like, there's like 5 minutes left, so...
That's why. I'm the competent. Playing it casually, even 100%.
To get it, yeah. Yeah, definitely within 10 minutes. So Nimzo's gonna be done in like 2 minutes, and Pheenoh's gonna be done in like 5 minutes. So they're gonna finish within like 3.5 minutes from each other ish. You mean this horseback segment now?
Yeah, basically the whole
Yeah.
segment. Especially.
I mean, you only have...
Oh, I just realized I didn't crank up my volume. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
I mean, you only really have Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask to compare, and Breath of the Wild, I guess, but Ocarina of Time for horse mechanics, that is. So, like, Ocarina of Time and MM's horse mechanics are, of course, it's an old game, they're not that good, but I think Breath of the Wild horse fighting is actually also really cool, especially like the backflip off and then slow-mo, like arrow shots is really cool.
Yeah, that's a trick. I should be fine now. Still quiet, but not as quiet. Currently, I forgot to set up my microphone for ZSR2. Because I did for ZSR3 and ZSR1 and my own stream. Not for ZSR. Dum dum.
Nimzo doing like the end fight. If you do it really optimally, it's 12-second fight. Like that, yeah. the meme lantern. GG, Nimzo. 304. Definitely not the greatest time for him, but was enough to still beat Pheenoh. Pheenoh also closing in, finishing Zelda. From end of Zelda, it's like around 3.5 minutes or so.
Yeah, we had about... Gotta go though. Okay then.
Yeah. There's a strat on Biscannon here where you do like a jump attack and then a 8 hit or like 4 hits and then another 4-hit combo. And yeah, that sets, if you do it twice, that sets up Ganondorf to like the lowest health value. And if he's at that point, he's not teleporting around, but he's like immediately... What is this? Oh my god.
Oh no.
Yeah, you can like immediately hit him. The thing is, you need like an actual strong B attack to like kill him. If Pheenoh just had like the 2 like strive B attacks hit him, which didn't kill him. So now he had an extra cycle. Like that.
There goes the...
Yeah, so Pheenoh I think can barely get like a 308. It's probably gonna be a low 309 realistically. Yeah, horseback kind of like everyone does it a bit differently. It depends on Zelda's shooting arrows, but she's not RNG. You can aim for her if you use like the C stick and like the opponent. Like if you need to like move Epona and also like the C stick a certain way. That way, oh no, got off. If you get hit off the horse in this fight, it's kind of dumb.
Because of this getting hit off the horse, my casual playthrough when I played this game, I took about 10 tries and 2 walkthroughs to get to Ganondorf.
Yeah, the thing about him is
unable to hit him.
Yeah, the thing about it is if you get knocked off, he like starts like targeting you again. He's not running away from you, but he's like charging at you. And when that happens, you need him to like miss you first to be able to be in this like state where he's running away from you. So yeah, Pheenoh getting a 309, sub 310, not too bad. Again, both runners are technically able to get sub 3 times. Nimzo has a sub 3 PB, so it's definitely not up to their standards, but it's okay. So checking the bracket right now. That sets up Nimzo up again. So Nimzo's waiting in round 4 of winners finals now. Also GG to Pheenoh. Nimzo is in winners or round 4, which is like quarterfinals. Or like I get almost semifinals of the bracket, waiting for either Adam, Pitsky, or Jaquade. Adam is racing against Pitsky tomorrow, and then Adam and Jaquade are gonna race, and those two are gonna be facing off, and the winner of that, assuming it's gonna be Adam, because Adam is a really good runner, is gonna be facing Nimzo, and the winner of that is gonna face me or Ace. And on the loser side, Pheenoh is going to face either Pheenoh or Taka. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Sadly, Pheenoh were unable to join us for wants to get. It's an understandable excuse. So at that point, we have to thank you.
Adam.
New Adam.
Adam, yeah.
For commentating. And I wish all of you best fun. I think we will raid over other speedruns and put quick time lapse so we jump Twilight Prince. I would sword.
Ooh.
Give them some ZSR love and see you next time.
Bye.